Hey, this is Brent, and welcome back to the Crossroads. I'm happy we can meet up here today. I want to shed some tears to the attractions we've lost in the Disney parks over the years, especially the ones that I missed when I was a kid. Many beloved rides have fallen victim to the WDI expansion drive. I don't fault Walt Disney Imagineering. I blame a company that would rather destroy than build. The parks in Florida have plenty of room to expand their footprint and thus their park capacity. But Disney refuses to expand the park sizes for some odd reason that nobody could figure out. I visited Walt Disney World for the first time when I was 12 years old. Being from southern Indiana, this was a big deal, and it was an experience that would shape my love of Disney parks and the movies into adulthood. I had watched Disney animated movies before when I was a kid, but visiting the park cemented my fandom. There were rides I loved and rides I didn't love. I didn't think about it at the time, but at any moment, Disney could take them away from us. This article and this conversation will focus on the rides I loved on my first visit that have been replaced, but I'll return to the topic later to discuss other attractions lost to the March of Disney expansion. The funny thing is that 3 of the ones I missed the most were removed and replaced in Fantasyland. The first Walt Disney ride I want to discuss is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. The good thing about this attraction is you can still experience it at Disneyland in Anaheim. The picture in the article on the website is from me at Disneyland, and that ride left an impression on young me. Before going to Disney World, I had never watched the entire movie of The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. The only part I'd watched of the movie was a clip from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow that aired on television around Halloween and was part of a Disney Halloween special that we had taped for our VCR. And that dates me. I had no expectations of the ride, so I was surprised when it ended with the car you ride in being hit by a train and you go to hell. The ending scenes even feature demons and the devil. Let's just say it helped shape my horror love at a very early age. When the announcement came that Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was being replaced, I didn't hear about the sad report. I didn't follow Disney on the internet in those days because we really didn't have the internet, and a story like this wouldn't have been in the local newspaper. I was shocked when I returned to Disney World as an adult in 1998 to find Winnie the Pooh where Mr. Toad once stood. That wasn't the only change coming to the rides I loved in Fantasyland. Snow White's Scary Adventure would be next. Snow White was Walt Disney Animation's first full-length animated feature film, and it remains one of my top 3 favorite Disney films. The ride was a scary, dark ride that followed Snow White and the evil queen through the spooky forest, the queen's creepy castle, and the queen's transformation to the hag, and finally the dwarves chasing the queen to her death. The mood was dark, and the scenes were scary for their target audience. But it remained a fan favorite until its demise. It was on my list to ride before Peter Pan or anything else in Fantasyland. Snow White's Scary Adventures remained in operation until 2012. Once the plans were in place for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train roller coaster and the upcoming Fantasyland 2.0 upgrades, Snow White's Scary Adventures became expendable. I mean, I could ride it for a few visits before it closed, so I didn't feel blindsided like I did with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. The internet news for Disney was also a bigger thing at the time, and I followed it by this point, so I knew the ride was closing soon. Still, it was a sad loss. But we can ride it in other parks. Lastly, for Fantasyland, I mourn the loss of the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea submarine voyage attraction. I was only able to ride this scary ride once before it closed. It wasn't scary because of the images in the attraction, but instead because of how bad the submarine ride cars leaked whenever you went underwater. This made the ride expensive to maintain and helped lead to its demise. There is still a version of it at Disneyland Anaheim, but it's been rethemed to Finding Nemo. Honestly, I think I like the Nemo version better. The submarine voyage closed in 1994, and the area around it has witnessed many changes since then. Once the water was drained from the ride, it became Ariel's Grotto, with a statue of King Triton and a meet and greet area for Ariel. Winnie the Pooh also shared the space with a play area until the plans, once again, for Fantasyland expansion and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Trains were announced. I will close this episode by saying I planned on this being a single article and episode, but I think it is now going to be a multi-part series covering other Magic Kingdom lands and the other Walt Disney World property parks. We will also discuss the numerous upcoming closures and changes, because God forbid if I started on the Muppet Vision 3D closure right now, I'd have a stroke. So, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you at the Crossroads again. And if you want to read more, please go to www.brentscrossroads.com. Thank you guys. See you later.